Hey everyone, Hybrid Toy Reviews here, doing a kind of unique video for the channel, but some info that I've wanted to share for a little bit now. In front of me are 4 AliExpress 501st clone ARF Troopers. These are knockoff clones. I recently reviewed them. Check that out. If you did check that out, you'll probably have noticed that I said that these are fixable. Now when I say fixable, they have an issue on the 501st only, it seems, but if you ever get a 212th or an all-white, or maybe some other Legion they make in the future, because that's all that's available right now, and it has visor misalignment issues, I'm here to save the day for you. Now, you might look at some of these and be like, wow, that visor over the eyes is absolutely wonky, and absolutely it is, but that is not the end of the day. What is going on with my focus here? There we go. All right. So, if you have some wonky visor issues, that is totally fixable, and I will show you how. First off, let me explain the logic behind it. Here we have a AliExpress clone, and as you can see, the visor is actually a separate piece from the helmet. It is a ring that wraps completely around the helmet with the visor molded in the front, and it looks kind of weird without it, I will say. God, focus is not working with me today. But as you can see, it's removable from the helmet. In the factory, they put it on with a very minimal amount of super glue. So I'm going to explain to you the solution. So setting that aside, here are all the tools that you're going to need for today's craft. You are going to need a super glue of choice. My favorite flavor is Loctite. And then you are going to need a coffee cup full of water, fresh out of the microwave, nice and warm. So the way that you get these visors off is super simple. Now, you can even get them off if you just pry with your fingers. However, I like to warm up the plastic a little bit. It just softens it a little bit, and you just got to waterboard the clones and get the information out of them. Where's the Republic base? Yeah, right. I'll never tell. But after dunking them in the water for a little bit and just softening up the plastic of that visor ever so slightly, you should have very little issues in prying the visor off of the helmet. Don't get me wrong, you have to put in just a little bit of elbow grease. Don't pry so hard that you like break anything, but it's basically glued on the sides, and then it's like they put random dots of it here and there. As you see, it's coming up, just softening it with water ever so slightly, and now you have a visorless clone. I'm going to go ahead and drop the visor in there, same with the one that I already have off, and I'm going to repeat the step on all my other ones and just completely remove their visors. And when they're completely removed, I will talk you through the repair process. Here you see 4 visorless ARF troopers looking pretty rough for wear, but no worries, we'll get him or them all fixed up very soon. So as you see, the visor is now out of the hot water and it's relatively straight looking. It's laid out very nice. There's no need to remove any of the super glue residue that's in there. It's not going to affect anything. However, you are going to want to take a paper towel or a normal towel or a napkin or whatever suits you best. And once you've got these out of the water, either let them air dry or towel them dry, because most super glues do not like being applied to things that are wet. So you're going to take your super glue and just apply a little bit. I think the strategy here is going to be to apply just in the corners of the visor a little bit. Now remember, you don't want this thing swimming in super glue. You see there's 2 little tabs in here that look like they line up to indents in the helmet. So you just want to get a little drop of glue, maybe one in the back. There you go. Very small amounts of super glue. And then without dragging it all over the helmet, you're going to want to reapply the visor. Now if you mess this up, it's going to be harder because you're going to be using a better super glue than originally was applied, but you can redo the water trick and remove the visor. Again, however, every time you do this, you do add a little bit more super glue residue to the thing. But as we see, the Loctite has just basically instantly bonded, and that visor is looking pretty true and well and straight. I mean, that's a good look. So that's much better than how it looked originally. I'm going to go ahead and, without a camera between me and them, do this 3 more times and show you the final results. There you go. A little bit of hot water, a touch of Loctite, and a little bit of elbow grease, and you have 4 perfectly applied 501st ARF visors. Now, being that they are plastic visors, you may have just the tiniest little semblance of a wave in there. They might not be perfect straight, but man, they're a lot better than they were, and you just got to take it apart and re-glue it sometimes. So I will say the average collector probably doesn't have AliExpress knockoff clones, and you're probably a die-hard guy if you've come across these. You're in collector pages or whatever, so you're probably no stranger to making a little modification to a figure here and there just to make it suit you a little bit better. But this is just an idea. I've seen a lot of people like, they look bad, and I've told a few friends about this, and they seem to really like it. So I'm just tutorialing it. I'm really keen on how this fix has worked out. It's worked really well. And now I have a custom that I want to share. Credit goes to 212 Hunter on Instagram. Go check him out. It is an awesome idea that he had. He did it with 212th, but we're going to do it to the Better Legion, being the 501st, considering that all the same parts apply. Now, this is going to require you purchasing 2 figures, but you will actually have 2 customs out of it, which is insane. You need to have a 501st ARF. You can choose between the officer or the standard. It's not going to change anything. And then you are going to want the Commander Apo with the visor. Now, these are pretty close matches on the shade of blue. I will say the Apo is a touch darker, and that might be something that deters you from wanting to do this at all. However, if you're willing to throw a little wash on them when you're done, it's going to work very well. So basically, all you have to do here is a head swap. So on these figures, the neck has a ball joint on the bottom, and it unpegs from these pretty easy if you pull hard enough. So on both sides, we have gotten the neck disconnected at the bottom of the ball joint, realign the pauldron, pop the ARF Trooper helmet onto Bly, or Apo, and then pop Apo's head onto the ARF Trooper body. And you see what you've actually created here is an ARF commander and then a 501st clone wearing the visor like they do on Umbara. So you've basically made a variant of an army builder and a really cool looking commander. Now with the part swap, you see the blues actually don't really look all that different when they're on the body. One thing worth noting is that that Apo has very clean paint, and the ARF has scuffs on it. So like this helmet doesn't have any scuffs in the blue. So you might want to take an X-Acto knife, scuff the blue here and there, and ultimately, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to scuff the blue, but ultimately give both of them a head-to-toe wash, just to make them look just a touch dirtier. I think it's going to really kind of hide the variation in the blue, which is very subtle, but it is different, I'll openly say. And it just makes for 2 really neat customs. So that's a really good idea. Thanks to 212th Hunter for sharing that on Instagram. And as I said, everyone go give him the credit. So, end of the day, that's how you fix your ARF Trooper helmets from the AliExpress knockoff clones. It's a really easy process. It really makes them look an awful lot better, and honestly, it makes them go from a questionable buy to a good buy. I would have enjoyed them either way, I feel, but they definitely look better adjusted, and you get a really cool custom idea out of it too with the commander. So I hope that you enjoy trying that custom figure. I hope that you find it easy to fix your helmets. Anyone that I've talked through the process has had good success, and I hope that this is convincing to you to pick them up, because the more these things sell, the more unique ones they make. I actually recently dropped on the Creators Guild that they're doing a Thyre at some point, because I've been talking to Vale's Toy Store, and I suggested, hey, repaint your Apo body and make it red in the shock trooper coloring and deco that you already have, and you'll have a Commander Thyre. And they're like, great idea. And then they replied later saying that they had spoken to the manufacturer. So Thyre is coming, and I'm super excited for that one. But yeah, the more that these things sell, the more they're going to do, and the more they'll do cool stuff, like giving us new helmet sculpts and new weapons and backpacks and stuff. And again, on the newer ARFs that they've made since the 501st, they've done 212th, and then they did all white ones. They seem to have the helmets glued on straight, so they've even corrected that. This was just a quick first batch issue. So I'm really keen on these. I'm glad that they have fixed the issue behind the scenes, and I'm really happy with these. So go track them down, fix them up a little bit, and you'll have some super cool troopers for the shelf. Thanks for watching an HTR fix video, if you will, and I'll see you next time. May the Force be with you. Bye.